everyone. Think about a time when you were out with friends and everyone decided to watch a popular movie that you weren't interested in. Even though you wanted to see something else, you agreed to go along with the group to avoid being the odd one out. In this case, you are showing conformity bias. What is conformity bias? It refers to the tendency to adjust one's opinions, judgments, or actions so that they align more closely with those of others or with the normative standards of a social group. This bias can manifest as outward compliance, simply going along with the group, or as more profound internal shifts in attitudes and beliefs, often referred to as private acceptance. While there is not a single person who discovered it, the concept has been most notably studied and popularized by social psychologist Solomon Asch in the 1950s. Asch is famous for his experiments on conformity, which demonstrated how individuals often conform to the majority view, even when that view is clearly incorrect. Conformity is a natural social behavior and can be seen in many aspects of our lives. While it can help individuals maintain harmony and fit into social circles, it can also have significant psychological and social consequences when it leads us to act against our own better judgment. Let's explore how conformity affects various aspects of our lives. Personal life. Emily joins a new social group that frequently engages in extreme sports. Initially, she is hesitant because she has fear of heights. However, to fit in and gain acceptance, she decides to go skydiving with a friend. While she enjoys the thrill, she also experiences significant anxiety and regret afterward, realizing she acted against her better judgment. Emily's conformity to the group's expectations led her to engage in an activity that caused significant distress rather than enjoyment. This scenario highlights the psychological strain that conformity can cause, particularly when it pushes individuals to act contrary to their own comfort or preferences. Relationships. Alex has a close friend group that frequently makes derogatory jokes about another friend, Jamie. Although Alex disagrees with this behavior, he starts laughing along to avoid being excluded. Over time, Alex begins to internalize these negative views, distancing himself from Jamie. Alex's conformity to the group's behavior results in a damaged relationship with his friend. What began as superficial compliance gradually evolved into a more enduring internalization of negative views, leading to guilt, regret, and a strained friendship. This scenario illustrates how conformity can harm relationships by encouraging harmful or unethical behavior. Business. Maria, a project manager at a tech startup, notices that her team favors a culture of working late hours and sacrificing personal time to meet deadlines. Although she believes in work-life balance, she feels pressure to conform to this norm to keep her job and maintain team cohesion. Over time, she observes a decline in her team's morale and productivity. Maria's conformity to the unhealthy work culture leads to increased stress and burnout among her team, contributing to high turnover and decreased productivity. This highlights how conformity in business settings can have detrimental consequences, particularly when it fosters a culture of groupthink, a psychological phenomena where the desire for group harmony and consensus overrides rational decision making. Education. Sarah is a high school student who loves art and creative subjects, but she notices that most of her classmates are focused on science and math. To fit in and avoid being labeled as different, she downplays her interest in the arts and starts focusing more on the subjects her peers value. Over time, she finds herself feeling disconnected from her true passions, leading to frustration and a sense of unfulfillment. Sarah's conformity to her peers' interest negatively affects her personal development and happiness. This is a classic example of how social pressure can lead to individuals to suppress their authentic selves in favor of fitting in with the group. In educational settings, this kind of conformity can limit creativity, self-expression, and individual growth. Health and lifestyle choices. Jake, a college student, begins to adopt unhealthy eating habits because he notices that most of his friends are eating fast food and junk snacks regularly. Despite his initial concerns about his health, he starts to mimic their eating behaviors just to fit in. Over time, his health begins to deteriorate and he feels trapped in a cycle of poor diet choices, all influenced by the conformity of his social circle. Jake's conformity to his peers' unhealthy eating habits illustrates how group behavior can shape our health and lifestyle choices. Peer pressure, especially in adolescence and young adulthood, can significantly impact decisions about diet, exercise, smoking, drinking, and other health-related behaviors. These influences can have long-term effects on both physical as well as mental well-being. Online communities and social media. Emily joins a fitness group on Instagram where members post daily about their intense workouts and strict diets. At first, she is impressed by the group's discipline, but soon she feels pressure to post similar content just to fit in. She starts over-exercising herself with workouts and restricting her diet, even though she feels exhausted and unhappy with her routine. Her online presence becomes a reflection of conformity rather than her authentic lifestyle. In the ages of social media, conformity bias can lead people to adopt behaviors or attitudes that are not in line with their true desires or well-being, simply to gain approval or avoid social exclusion in online communities. This phenomenon can contribute to negative mental health outcomes such as anxiety, body image issues, and burnout as people try to keep up with unrealistic standards set by others. Moral and ethical dilemmas. Linda works in a corporate office where unethical practices such as falsifying reports to meet targets are commonplace. While Linda feels uncomfortable with these practices, she starts to conform to them to avoid being seen as troublemaker. Over time, she becomes more complicit in the unethical behavior, rationalizing it as just how things are done, and just becoming insensitive to the same. Linda's conformity to the unethical behavior of her colleague highlights how groupthink can lead individuals to compromise their own moral and ethical standards. In work environments, conformity can create a toxic culture where employees feel pressured to accept or even participate in unethical actions. This can lead to personal guilt, legal consequences, and damage to the organization's integrity. You could be Linda, Emily, or Sarah, whoever had succumbed to this conformity bias, and which has got a high negative impact on one's own personality and various aspects of our lives. Now that we have explored how conformity bias can influence our decisions across various aspects of our lives, whether in personal relationships, professional environments, health and lifestyle choices, even our ethical views. Whether it's agreeing to an activity you're uncomfortable with, laughing at jokes you don't find funny, or sacrificing your values just to fit into your work, conformity can lead to negative psychological and social outcomes. From compromised well-being to strained relationships and ethical dilemmas, the impact of conformity is far-reaching. While it's natural to want to fit in, it's equally important to stay true to your own beliefs, values, and preferences. Understanding the powerful influence of conformity allows us to become more mindful of the pressures that shape our decisions. By recognizing when we are succumbing to conformity bias, we can make more authentic, intentional choices in both our personal as well as professional lives. As an individual, one can overcome this bias by fostering critical thinking skills, valuing one's own individuality and being true to oneself, seeking diverse perspectives, strengthening self confidence, and practicing mindfulness. In group settings, it is important to foster an environment where individuals feel empowered to express their true selves, whether in a social, educational, or work setting, can help avoid the psychological pitfalls of conformity. This not only promotes individual well being but also encourages healthier, more genuine social connections. Ultimately, by becoming aware of how conformity shapes our decisions, we can ensure our actions align with our true beliefs rather than simply following the crowd. All the best.